AITAH, if I wear a fake ankle monitor to show my parents how controlling they are? Posted by you/researcher top 5062. I, 16M, recently got my first phone from my parents. They told me that one of the conditions for having it was that I have to share my location with them at all times. This feels like an invasion of my privacy, but they insist that it's just for my safety. I'm very responsible, I get good grades, and I have never sneaked out. This doesn't feel reasonable to me. I have tried having calm conversations about it, and I have pointed out that I always tell them where I'm going, but they are holding firm. I don't actually have an issue with them knowing where I am, but the idea of them knowing where I am instantly just by looking up my phone makes me uncomfortable. I have an idea for how to express how I feel about it. I plan to buy a novelty prisoner costume for the ankle tag, roll up my leg to show the tag, and tell them this is a symbolic representation of how I feel about the location tracking. Luckily, I saw the kind of costume I'm looking for in a shop. The ankle tag is plastic, has a blinking red light, and straps around your ankle with Velcro. It's super fake looking, but perfect for what I want to say. But I don't know if this is a good idea. I want to make a point, but I'm not sure how they will react. Am I just being disrespectful, or could this be a good idea? I just want to hear others' thoughts. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. I'm on your parents' side. When our daughter starts driving, that will be a requirement for her until she becomes an adult. Parents worry about their kids 24/7. What they are demanding is not unreasonable, you're still a teen. Their house, their rules. Not to mention, they are paying for the phone. Ops response. I just wish they would be willing to make some kind of compromise. I have told them why it bothers me, and I have listened to their view as well. Like I said, I don't have an issue with the idea of them knowing where I am. The way they're doing it just makes me feel like they don't trust me when I've never given them a reason not to. Commenter 2. I can sympathize. It may not be trust, it's more like worry. Like I said, parents worry about kids nonstop, and that is not an exaggeration. What's your compromise? Ops response. I would be happy to text them and tell them where I'm going if it's not somewhere they expect in advance. They would still know where I am, but it would be because I told them. Commenter 2. It's not the same. Again, what they are demanding is not unreasonable. Commenter 3. It's a safety thing. It's their phone that they pay for and that they let you have. The real reason you got it in the first place wasn't because you're such a good boy, it's so that you can call your parents if you end up in a sketchy or dangerous situation. The location tracking is for the same reason. Basically, from a parent, don't be a jerk about it, enjoy your new phone, it was a gift, and yeah, you have to share your location. Or you could just go back to not having a phone. Ops response. I will admit, probably the best protest would be to just give the phone back for that reason. I do accept that they paid for the phone, so it's their right to make this demand. I just wish they could agree to some kind of middle ground, like if I just text them where I am from time to time. It's the feeling that they don't trust me that bothers me, I guess. Commenter 3. It's not really about trusting or not trusting you, it's about not trusting everyone who is not you. I guarantee most of your friends share their location with their parents. I can probably also guarantee that they lie to their friends about it to seem cool. Update 2 weeks later. Hi everyone, I decided to write an update in case anyone is curious about what I did. You can see my last post if you click my profile. A lot of people gave me good advice, telling me that it would be immature and wouldn't make them change their minds. So I decided to be the bigger person. Instead of demanding they change the rules, I chose the other option, which was to just not have a phone anymore. I put the phone back in its box, rehearsed what I was going to say, and then went to my parents after dinner. I told them I appreciated the phone, but that I'd rather not have a phone than feel constantly watched, and I handed it back to them. It did not go well. At first, they laughed, but then my mom was very blunt with me. She said they gave it to me as a gift because she thought it would make me feel like an adult who was responsible enough for a phone, but that it was for her peace of mind. She said I had only recently started to leave the house by myself, and it was making her worry sick, and that she wanted me to not have a phone at all at first, but thought having my location made it worth it. I had wanted a phone for a while because all my friends do, and she thought giving me a phone would solve all our problems. She didn't expect me to make such an issue of the location tracking. She said she regretted framing it as a choice, but that she said it that way because she didn't want to hurt my feelings and also didn't expect me to do this. She got upset, and then my dad was angry at me for upsetting my mom. He told me I was being ungrateful, and that I clearly wasn't ready for the kind of responsibility that came with owning a phone if I couldn't even handle something as basic as letting us know where you are. I tried to explain that I wasn't trying to be difficult, I just didn't like the feeling of being watched all the time, but it didn't matter. The mood had totally shifted, and they sent me upstairs. About an hour later, they called me back down. They then gave the phone back to me but said they had reevaluated it. I then discovered this means the phone is now heavily locked down. I basically can't do anything on it anymore other than call or text them and my friends. They deleted all my social media apps and put a password on the App Store so I can't download them again. Location sharing is still on, but they now check to make sure it's in my backpack before I leave the house. Now, if I want to use Reddit and such, I have to use my laptop. It's like I have the downside of having a phone but with none of the upsides now. I told them that I wish I had gone with my first plan instead, wearing a fake ankle tag, and they said they wish I had done that because it would have been the funniest thing they had ever seen. As a joke, they renamed my phone in Find My as Ankle Monitor. I obviously get that they're trying to be tongue-in-cheek, but it feels like it's at my expense. Now I just wish I had never brought any of this up to begin with. If anyone has any ideas on what I should do now, then please let me know, because it feels like I can't win. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Take your lumps. Apologize. Wearing the costume was never going to work. The comments in your previous post said your ankle bracelet idea was immature. Also, look at it this way, if your parents jokingly wore prison guard uniforms to drive their point home to you, would that make you have more respect for them? So you're surprised at their reaction? They love you, and sometimes that means boundaries that can be opened up if you go along with them and give them peace of mind. The mature thing to do would have been to accept their rules and request to renegotiate at a later date. That shows maturity. It shows you recognize that trust has to be earned and maintained, because it always will be. What makes you so special to not have to go through that? Forget the good grades and behavior, they gave you an expensive phone. They are going to want to make sure they can find it if you innocently lose it. So it isn't all about you, per se. But you're important to them. So learn from this and do better. Ops response. I realized the costume idea was immature, which is why I didn't do it. I handed the phone back, but they wouldn't take it. Now I feel like they are being vindictive by locking the phone down while forcing me to have it in the first place. Am I misunderstanding their intent? Commenter 2. Kinda, yeah. The phone isn't optional. You are 16 and wandering around alone. You need a phone in case your car breaks down, you get lost, or you're going to be late or whatever. It's not safe for you to be out without parents and without a phone. Adults carry a phone when they leave the house, for safety. So the phone isn't optional. They tried to let you be a mostly adult about it, and you refused. You behaved immaturely and insisted that this whole situation had to happen on your terms. So now they can't trust you to act like an adult with a phone, so you get treated like a kid with a phone, because the phone isn't optional. If you want to fix this, start acting like an adult. Ops response. I disagree that I was being immature by trying to hand the phone back. But I have taken the time to digest what everyone has said to me here, and I think I've accepted I was wrong to make a big deal of this. I have tried to think of situations where having the phone's location would help, but where me simply texting them wouldn't. I could think of a few, like if the phone itself was lost somewhere. I think the reason why it's bothering me is simply because I feel I have no choice over it. But when I'm older and have my own phone plan, then I can choose to stop sharing my location if it's something I still object to at that point. I decided to talk to my parents once again about this, and I raised that point to them. They agreed and said I'm right and it would be my choice, but even when I'm an adult they would still worry about me. We hugged and there is no tension in the house anymore. I think I learned from this experience that I don't like seeing my parents as enemies. I think the conclusion I've come to is that the tool itself isn't good or bad, but how it's used. It can be used to be controlling, but if it's not being used in that way, then it's harmless. I feel really silly for making an issue out of something that didn't need to be one. Commenter 3. I am so happy to no longer be 16.